Welcome back. In the next group of videos, we're going to look at solving equations. In this section, we're going to look at solving radical equations. We're going to start out with a simple example so we can look through the four-step process that we'll follow. So the example we're going to start with is the square root of x plus 2 plus 4 equals 7. The first thing we want to do when we're working through these problems is isolate the variable. Well, not the variable, we want to isolate the radical. So when I look at this, I see that I have my radical here. So I first need to isolate this. To do that, I'm going to bring 4 to the other side. So I will have the square root of x plus 2 is equal to 3. This is step 1. Once I have my radical isolated, I am going to raise my radical, or I'm going to raise both sides of my equation to whatever power is necessary to get rid of the radical. So in step 2, I see that I have a square root of x plus 2. I need to raise this to whatever power, both sides, whatever power is necessary to get rid of the radical here. So I see that that is going to be a squared. One thing we need to keep in mind, when we square both sides of the equation, we lose the sign of the original equation. So if we end up making everything positive, because anything squared is positive. So we need to take that into account later on in our problem. So when I square a square root, the square root and the squared cancel out, leaving me with x plus 2. 3 squared is 9, so I have x plus 2 is equal to 9. The third step is that we're going to solve our equation. So we now want to solve this new equation for x, and I do that by subtracting 2 from each side. So x is equal to 7. I'm not done because I have a very important fourth step. And the fourth step is that I need to check my solution. So checking my solution means I'm going to take this value of x is equal to 7 and plug it into my original equation. Not a later step, the original equation. So I now have the square root of 7 plus 2 plus 4 is equal to 7. I'm not going to mix things between the sides. I'm going to simplify the left-hand side and simplify the right-hand side. So the right-hand side is simplified, so that stays as 7. This becomes the square root of 9 plus 4. The square root of 9 is 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is equal to 7, that's true. So x equals 7 is my solution. This was the basic example. In our next video, we'll look at another more complicated example.